Alright. False imprisonment is a tort and possibly a crime wherein a person is intentionally confined without legal authority.
Some scenarios of false imprisonment are taking hostage of a bank's customers and employees by bank robbery. Another one is the detainment of a customer by a business owner. Example, hotel operator, apartment owner, and that's it, for the failure to pay a bill.
Alright. Police privilege. A police officer has the right to detain someone if he has a probable cause to believe a crime has been committed, and that the person is so involved, or if the officer has reasonable suspicion that the person has been, is, or is about to be engaged in criminal activity based on specific facts and interferences.
Shopkeeper's privilege would be when a store's owner holds a common law, which is the shopkeeper's privilege, under which he is allowed to detain a suspected shoplifter on store property for a reasonable period of time, with cause to believe that the person detained in fact committed or attempt to commit theft of the store property. The shopkeeper's privilege, although recognized in most jurisdictions, is not as broad a privilege as that of a police officer's, and therefore one must pay special attention to the temporal element. That is, the shopkeep may only detain a suspected criminal for a relatively short period of time.
Alright, the purpose is the privilege for the most part is to be able to return the stolen goods. The shopkeeper may not force a confession. They do not have a right to conduct a contemporaneous search of the person and the objects within that person's control.
Claim of false imprisonment. To prevail under a false imprisonment claim, a plaintiff must prove 1. Willful detention. 2. Without consent. 3. Without authority of law. The test of liability is not based on the store patron's guilt or innocence, but instead on the reasonableness of the store's action under the circumstances. It usually determines whether reasonable beliefs is established. A guilty shoplifter can still sue for false imprisonment then if the detention was unreasonable.
Here are some cases. In Louisiana, a pharmacist and his pharmacy were found guilty of false imprisonment when they instructed a patient of theirs to wait around while a police officer was being called without her knowledge, because they were suspicious of a prescription that was meant for her. Before she came in, her doctor had called in a prescription, but for several reasons the pharmacist was suspicious of the prescription, and when she came in, he and fellow employees asked the patient to wait while they were supposedly working on the prescription. When the police arrived, they arrested the patient. While the patient was in prison, the police verified with her doctor that the prescription was authentic and that it was meant for her. After this incident, the patient sued the pharmacy and its employees, receiving $20,000. An appeals court reversed the judgment because it believed the elements of false imprisonment were not met.
Now here's a skit explaining an example of false imprisonment. One night at a hotel. Mr. Johnson, pay your bill.
No.
I'm going to keep you in here until you pay your bill.
That's illegal. 911.
I'm on my way.
What the is going on?
You going downtown. El fin.